You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Leftist lies and globalists, I'm pushing them back from the saloon to the airwaves. I'm spitting it raw. Constitution's my compass, liberty's law. Big guns creeping, shadows on the land. Feds with the schemes trying to bind up my hands, but I'm the Sherpa guiding through the storm. Red, white, and blue, yeah, freedom's reborn. They spin their tails, but I see through the haze. Media maggots, lost in the maze. I'm calling it out, no fear in my soul. This patriot's fire ain't losing control. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpas, come and remember my name. Sherpas rising. Freedom's calling. Let this judge is twisted, trying to steal our rights, but I'm locked and loaded, got them in my sights. From J6 to the border, they're selling us out. I'm screaming from the mountain, hear my rainbow shout. They mock the flag, but I'm holding it high. Stars and stripes forever under God's open sky. No globalist chains gonna cage this land. I'm the Sherpa with the truth in my hand. They push their agenda, but I'm breaking the mold. Their promise is empty, their heart's ice cold. Chicago's bleeding, borders torn apart. I'm fighting for the people with the warrior's heart. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpas, come and remember my name. Sherpas rising. I've walked the line, 41 years, badge on the grind, now I'm on the air. My voice like a blade, cutting through the lies that the traitors made. Hurricanes rage, but we're standing tall. Sheriffs of the Constitution answering the call. From the saloon to the heart of the fray, we're taking back America, no more delay. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpas, come and remember my name. Sherpas rising. Hear my voice resound. Conservative Sherpa, freedom's battleground. Berserk, Bobcat, Rose will never kneel. For God and country, this fight is real.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, where I am broadcasting right here in North Idaho, in an actual free state. I am this guy, as I showed you before. I am your conservative Sherpa, and I'm doing all of these things pretty much simultaneously. I am guiding you, holding your hand, ushering you through the insidious maelstrom of Demorat, leftist, and globalist lies and bedlam and chaos and tyranny and deceit and betrayal. All of that stuff. And that is why I am here tonight, just for you. It is Tuesday night. It is March 24th, the year of our Lord 2026. and it is 8:06 p.m. Pacific, 10:06 p.m. Central, and 11:06 Eastern. That's why this is a late night conservative talk show with you here. And so I think probably if I go up here to comments, I should show the comments on the screen. Thanks to everybody. I got a new chatter from Kentucky. So welcome to you from Kentucky. Thanks for being here tonight. I think that's a wonderful thing. I lived for a time in Ohio, just slightly above you near Kettering, and also on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base up in Fairborn when my dad was alive and in the military, and we moved all over the place, and we lived on base at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. One thing I never quite understood is we lived in the brick general's housing at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. My dad was never a general. He was a full colonel. He got assigned all sorts of places. He was in Roswell. He was assigned in, I can't even think, maybe it was Tinker Air Force Base for a while. Came back to Sacramento, Mather, McClellan, and then also spent a lot of time, I believe I was told, at AFLC in D.C. Dad was mostly not around when I was a kid. And he spent a ton of time at the Pentagon and would never talk about it. He seldom talked about all the stuff that he did during World War II. That's just my dad. Why did I stop right there? I want to tell you what you're about to hear for the next 2 hours consists of my opinion and my opinion only. Sadly, I do not have any guests tonight. I've driven them all away. I'm doing the job that the American Media Maggots won't. I am fundamentally changing America one leftist diaper at a time, indicating that we don't water our drinks. That still hurts. Because this is a heavy mug. This is the SHR Media Heavy mug. And originally when I saw this, before I was the recipient of its order, I thought, okay, well, this thing is just one of those cheap-ass little tin mugs that you see. Well, here's my granite plate that I hold this on, and this is a heavy-ass ceramic mug. Roll with me on this. I'm going somewhere. I also want to tell you that we are still serving stiff drinks in the saloon, along with facts, history, logic, rationality, proportion, clarity, context, tradition, and common sense for a whole bunch of people, which is why you listen to me right now. Politics, religion, crime, culture, race, sex, science, economics, law. We talk about it all right here in the saloon where the speech is free, but the booze is not. And I am streaming live right now on a veritable plethora. It is plethora or it is plethora. Well, it's a whole bunch of places. And I am also, first I'm streaming on a bunch of places on X and also on, Twitch and KLRN. Thanks to Rick Robinson for simulcasting me tonight. The SHR Media YouTube channel, Spreaker, later on in Apple Podcasts, a whole host of places for you to go and watch us live now, of course, and also later on in podcast. Funny thing is, I just did this. I just mentioned this. It just popped into my head. The people that know me know that I'm a good portion of me. I'm deaf. I'm almost entirely deaf in my left ear. And that comes from a whole host of things that occurred to me in my life. Not the least of which was gunfire right next to my ear, Garnduke. Jesus, you son of a bitch, even though you're dead. Fired a .357 about, 10 inches from my left ear, asshole. I love you dearly, dude. And also, I've lost a whole bunch of hearing in my right ear, not nearly as much as I have in my left. But being kind of deaf makes things funny. And in other words, when I was coming down the hallway before I came in the show here and sat down in the studio, My wife said something, Mrs. BZ, and I swear to God, it sounded like, honey, would you please turn off the shotgun? So luckily, I went and turned off the shotgun. And it's amusing because I hear shit that translates really amusingly. I was just walking down the hall and I thought about that right now. Tonight's show is going to be about this. It's about Newsom, and he says Demorats got to get ruthless. So there he is, foaming and spittle. When you do things in grok like I do, and I'm not that great, hardly in grok or technology for that matter. I pounded this a couple of times and I said, show me spittle coming out of Gavin Newsom's mouth. So if you look above his head, that's where it went. I have no idea why spittle is above his head. However, the only good thing possible is that it clearly appears to be descending into his hair. You know, because who knows why you get the stuff that you get when you get it out of grok. Also, I want to mention this. I'm not wearing this tonight, but I want to put this in. This is to illustrate that Lyle Armstrong's SHR shirt is in. And there it is on the Fat Boy right there. Mark 1, Model 1, Bulbous 1. Wearing the beer and Bullstein. I'm sorry. Good God, what's wrong with me? Wearing the beer and Bullstein shirt. And perhaps you might be wondering, maybe even worried about where you can get stuff like that. At the SHR, look, right over there. At the SHR Media Shop, actually on portrait, it's right above me right there. And it says the SHR Media Shop. Well, the funny thing is, because all this cool stuff is created by Earl Jackson's wife, who is superior with graphics. I'm not going to tell her real name. I'll just call her Mrs. Earl. And I don't know if she wants to be mentioned, but she creates great graphics. So if you want to get some, and again, you'll be able to find all this stuff. All the videos are all the articles that I will be using tonight on my Rumble channel at BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show, where I display all my show links, including this link. I can't do it on YouTube. There's not enough room. Anyway, show links are on my Rumble channel for every show, including the link for this. But I need to show you what you can get. Well, you can get that t-shirt. Well, look, it's here also. You can get the great 250 Reasons t-shirt, the SHR Mugulus right there, which is Visulus, which I'm barely holding up with my ruined right shoulder. It's heavy. I'm telling you, kids. This thing is heavy. The Edge of Liberty t-shirt, which I wore on the show once before. Here's Bjorn Bullstein hoodie that I don't recommend to anybody because I hate hoodies unless it has a zipper in the front. If it's got a zipper in the front, okay. Mission Ready Men, great shirt right there. Hey, look, BZ's shirt right there. The Ever of Common Sense, and if you want a generic SHR Media t-shirt, look, it's white, now it's gray. Now it's white, now it's gray. By the miracle of modern technology. Anyway, go to missionreadymen.com, missionreadymen.com/collectibles. That's French for collectibles. And to everyone who is in chat, etc., thanking you almost very kindly. All right, completely very kindly for being here. Also want to mention before we get into the show, I went and saw this past weekend. And it's from the Andy Weir book, Project Hail Mary. And if you like hard sci-fi, meaning it's not fantasy and it's not Star Trek or any of that kind of stuff, it's sci-fi with this crap could possibly happen. Could really happen. Anyway, I read the book, Andy Weir, the Project Hail Mary. Great book, but also went to go see the movie. And it had Ryan Gosling, which is, I don't know, kind of a weird ass name, Gosling. I'm a gosling, I'm a hawkling, I'm a birdling. Anyway, it was really good. It's a long movie. Make sure you pee before you go see the 2.5 hour movie, 2 hours, 36 minutes, I think. And I don't think I'm spoiling too much, but there's an actual alien in it. Okay, not really an alien. Jeez, oh, pizza people, don't be so serious. But I found it very interesting because the alien wasn't CG. It was a puppet moved by this guy. I won't spoil the rest of the story. Okay, BZ, you spoiled the story that there's an actual alien in there. A real alien, I swear to God. Not made up or anything. Yeah. So I would recommend it. But like I said, you know, if you eat while you're watching a movie, get the large popcorn. I like extra butter on my popcorn. Lots of extra butter on my popcorn. And then also make sure you get the tankard O-Cola because you're going to need it through 2.5 hours. Great movie. I would recommend it. I don't do movies that much on the show. But for whatever reason, this came into my brainulus and I thought, hey, you know, let's talk about this. Anyway, tonight is about Gavin Newsom and how he wants everybody to get ruthless. I wonder where Ruth is. Anyway, we're all going to go now to the carousel of amusing GURP, the likes of which I still don't have any intro music for. But as most of my GURP is, it's about video, mostly sent to me by the Mossad, but also this time about some folks on the inside. Look, it's TSA. Is it an airport? What is it?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your new captain speaking. Our beautiful ICE officers are now in charge of this airport. That's right. We are the captains now, bitches. To all my illegal aliens, we have a special plane just for you. We'll give you free tacos and cervezas, but we're getting you the hell out of our country.
Bye.
Adios, amigos. If you're a crazy Democrat terrorist, please report to your nearest TSA checkpoint for a full cavity search. You'll probably enjoy that, believe me. Anyone wearing a MAGA hat will get to board first, and they will travel first class all the way.
Anyway, the agreement that I have with the people that supply me these videos is that I can only play them once. So that's why it's a carousel of amusing GURP sometimes. This just in, at first, when I watched this and saw this, I thought, no, is that right? Is this something real? Is this a real thing? And I found out, well, as a matter of fact, yeah, it is. It's an American girl, Muslim doll. Look, it's the Eid al-Fitr celebration outfit for 18-inch dolls. So look at the cool stuff you can get on your American Girl doll. This is real. Cultural celebrations and tickets and money and a dress and a hijab and whatever the hell those are, and sandals and pants and the dress to wear over the pants. That kind of stuff, I find that truly amazing. I want to mention this, that with the dress, these accessories are separate. You have to purchase them separately. They're sold separately. The FGM kit, you'll have to buy separately. The bruise decals to place all over the doll's skin, that's separate. Caustic chemical burn facial decals, those are sold separately. And of course, because they're kind of heavy, the bag of stones on this, you're going to have to buy separately as well. So anyway, I do have this though. This came back, and it came back with a bullet, so to speak. Let's play it.
The bloviating Zeppelins, HeyJackass.com Chicago death toll update. Courtesy of every leftist running that city. From the mayor, police chief, and every alder crap in the 50 wards.
Anyway, this is from HeyJackass.com. HeyJackass.com, illustrating Chicago values. Now, people have said that the murder rate is going down. Okay, that's good compared to the last time I had this on. Yes, it's definitely going down. So, March to date, shot and killed 28, shot and wounded 76, total shot 104, total homicides 32. And week in progress, March 22nd to the 28th, shot and killed 5, shot and wounded 10, total shot 15, total homicides 5. Shot and killed year to date, 82. Shot and wounded 261, total shot 343, total homicides 90. So this indicates that a person in Chicago, the city of big shoulders, is shot every 5 minutes and 45 seconds, and a person is murdered in Chicago every 21 minutes and 52 seconds.
The bloviating Zeppelins, HeyJackass.com Chicago death toll update. Courtesy of every leftist running that city. From the mayor, police chief, and every alder crap in the 50 wards.
They still have the shot spotters. They're all gone. That's sad. Anyway, you know who the guy that's the king racist mayor of Chicago is? Brandon Johnson. And I want to remind everyone that he has said this. And I'm as gobsmacked today as when I first heard this.
We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down. We cannot incarcerate.
Says the racist himself. Hey, remember 3 strikes in Califailure? I do, because I lived there at the time. And it went by the 80-20 rule. 80% of crime is committed by 20% of the criminals. It's actually worse. So if you happen to put that 20% of criminals into incarcerel, then crime goes magically down. That's something that this idiot doesn't grok. That's a concept that guy still doesn't get. But, Chicago still doesn't get it. Brandon Johnson still doesn't get it. Governor Pritzker still doesn't get it, because a guy who was an illegal invader walked up behind this young lady in Chicago, a Loyola student by the name of Sheridan Gorman, and that illegal invader walked up behind her and shot her in the head, in the same place that Governor Pritzker walked about, 2 months ago, and said, this is wonderfully safe here in Chicago. So the Chicago Peacekeeper program is under fire after an illegal invader, I changed the appropriate word, is charged in the Loyola student's murder. That's what happens. Murder rates may be going down. But wait, what kind of a city do you have when ICE has to beseech Governor Pritzker and that asshole Brandon Johnson, king racist mayor, hey, don't release the criminal illegal invader accused of killing the 18-year-old Loyola College student. They have to go in and ask, because Chicago and all of the state of Illinois is a sanctuary town and state. And so why should ICE have to ask for this? At the same time, and this, I'm telling you, if this doesn't manage to blow your brainulus, I don't know what will. Because this is from Breitbart, and Pritzker came out and said, well, it's Trump's fault for the murder of Sheridan Gorman, migrant, the illegal invader in Chicago. So Pritzker is saying that, You know, President Donald Trump is to blame for the murder of student Sheridan Gorman in Chicago. It's the job, this is a quote, it's the job of the federal government to go after immigration enforcement. He's denounced Trump a ton of times about Trump's policy of deporting illegal invaders and defended, of course, the Demorat imposition of an amnesty zone, a ton of them, in Chicago and Illinois. It's the job of our local and state enforcement to prosecute or catch violent criminals and prosecute them. And we should continue to do that both on the state level and the national level. And these assholes think that you're too stupid to understand that they created the problem that killed her. Then they want to stand back, these two guys, and say, well, it wasn't our problem. Trump, it's your job to go in and get these guys. When we specifically have for years proscribed you from going in, and if ICE did, then we complain about ICE going in and doing its job. You know, this comes from the Department of, how do you write this ridiculous shit? And how do you possibly understand the crap that's coming out of their mouths? Now, I said, and these are facts and evidence, that Brandon Johnson is a massive black male racist. And so I'm including this to let you know that, oh, there are lots of black females that are racists as well. I don't know who this chick is, and I really don't care. That's Piers Morgan in the middle. That's Riley, I believe, Gaines on the far right. Let's listen. Oh, the black chick on the left is taking massive umbrage.
Piers,
now you can
black
respond.
Women cannot be racist to white women. Are you kidding me?
Sorry?
That makes no sense.
Sorry?
Black women cannot be racist to white women.
Said the black female racist.
Do you not understand that?
Oh, yes, they can.
You don't have the intellectual
Oh, yes, they
capacity
can.
to understand.
See, this is when you laugh at these racist assholes that try to convince you and try to guilt you into that. You know, I laugh at you. You're just ridiculously racist. You're so over the top racist. No one buys your crap anymore. And thank God for that. And I can tell you and illustrate to you that it's the tenor of the times where when you say those things, you don't hold crap over me anymore. The racist is there on the left. There she is. Couldn't care what her name is because they're all ultimately replaceable. All these racists that are black and male and female on the media are the same, and they keep trotting out the same mindless drivel.
Oh, yes, they
That's
can.
very much
And you've been
impossible.
racist to me.
That's very much
You've been
impossible.
racist to me, a white man, by saying I'm a race hater. Yeah.
That's how nuts these people are. And yes, they are these people. I mean racists. I mean, in that case, with King Racist Johnson, a racist, with this chick, whatever the hell her name is, black female racist. What are you going to do to me? I speak the truth. And since we're talking about people that are morons, let's put this up as well. Now, can you, I challenge you. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my God. Where has the time flown? The time has, I'm going to have to play this next right after this. But you know what? I'm really glad you're here tonight on March the 24th. Oh my God, March is almost done. The year of our Lord, 2026. This is a perfect time to, I don't know, winkle.
You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Mission log entry. I mean, let's face it, who's even counting anymore? The Lost Wanderer is officially off course, chasing rogue rocket launches, fringe science, and things that probably violate causality. If it burns fuel, bends time, or makes scientists very uncomfortable, yeah, I'm probably going to talk about it. Every other Sunday on KLRN Radio, The Lost Wanderer, because space doesn't come with a roadmap, and honestly, I wouldn't follow if it did.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Hey fellas, are you mission ready? You need to check out Mission Ready Men via Earl Big E Jackson on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and noon Eastern. It's a show that equips you to navigate our society's challenges from a biblical perspective with courage and conviction. Tune into Mission Ready Men as we examine our culture through the prism of biblical truths, teachings, and how to apply them in our daily lives. Prepare to step up, stand out, and step into your role as a man as ordained by God. That's Mission Ready Men, hosted by Earl Jackson on the SHR Media Network. And get mission ready.
Want to make an immediate difference in the life of a critically ill child? You have the ability to do that right now. Make a donation to Dream Makers for Life, the organization that restores dreams to seriously ill children and their families. You can sponsor a dream pack for a child, which contains a clear PVC backpack, a dry erase board adventure coloring book, a journal, and dry erase markers to inspire a critically ill child to envision a future adventure and hope. Want to become a dream maker for life yourself? Go to dreamforlife.org. That's dreamforlife.org. Help a child. Help a family. There is always hope.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And thanks for being here tonight, folks, lovely ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your being here. Trans units not welcome. Oh, you can watch, but I wouldn't recommend chatting. Just on account of because we love everyone here, don't we? Of course we do. Thanks for being involved in the chat or uninvolved in the chat. I want to tell you this. This, again, just popped into my head. Now, sadly, last Friday and Saturday night, Lyle Armstrong was unable to do a show because one of his pieces of equipment took a dump on him. But in the meantime, he's gotten a new one. So I want to tell you that Lyle is going to have his show Friday night. Hey, look, there's his shirt. Beer and Bullstein. And his show is going to be Friday night and Saturday night. Well, night, sort of, kind of, 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Eastern. So Friday and Saturday, I'll remind everybody of that later on in the show. I wanted to tonight's show is going to be about this, and we'll get to that in a moment. Newsom says, hey, Demorats, you got to get ruthless if you're going to win, said the spittle that's flying over his perfectly coiffed hair, which is just, I call him Governor Oil hair, or words to that effect, Senator. Anyway, now I'm going to play this. You tell me what Albany, New York. Oh, by the way, you do know Albany is the capital of New York. Albany Mayor Dorsey Pliers is asked by a reporter how she plans to fix their city debt situation in Italian. And I'm not making this up because I don't need to. And so at the conclusion, in about a minute or so, because I'm going to play the whole thing, and this is where you continue to laugh at leftists. So at the conclusion of this, tell me, I speak leftist, and usually my interpretive factors are fairly decent, but you tell me what she says.
Mayor, looking long term, what short pushing does need to happen to prevent Albany from facing similar financial issues again?
That's a great question, and that's why we're pulling together that team, that interdepartmental team that will really go under the hood, open up the cabinets, really get into the weeds on our budget, the process, some of our systems. It is government. There's a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of systems, and sometimes those systems do not work. And so you have to get under the hood to first understand what's not working. And so that team in short order will start the process of examining all of those things to then in turn provide me with recommendations on how we improve those systems to prevent something like this from happening moving forward.
Something like that. If I'm not mistaken, she was tasked with answering a question about the city budget. So, I mean, if you know what she said, go ahead and put it down over there in chat. And anyway, welcome. Rick Robinson is in chat. SHR is in chat. The Phantom is in chat. And thanks to all the people, the individual from Kentucky who's in chat, and the person who asked the ridiculous question about Breitbart. Breitbart is much more accurate than the New York Times, LA Times, etc. And Washington Post and CNN. I think I've got some fairly decent stories about CNN, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Also, it would be wrong of me not to point fingers at white people too. So, and especially if they're a leftist. So here's, anybody remember or know who this guy is? It's an actor named Alan Ritchson, who is on this TV show it was a book written by Harlan Coben, I think. Reacher, that's the name of the show, Reacher. And a lot of people like this guy. He's a massive damn leftist. He's big in shape, manly, about 6'5". And if you see him without his shirt on, the dude is big and bulked. And that's part and parcel why people watch Reacher, especially the Chickerinis. So what he did is he decided that he lives in Tennessee. It'd be fun to thump on his neighbor.
It started on Saturday morning and I'm an experienced motorcycle rider. I've been riding bikes all my life. So, from dirt bikes to street bikes and etc. But I'd heard this incestuous revving and speeding through our neighborhood of the motorcycle. I eventually saw the guy on Saturday. I didn't know who it was. And I sort of flippantly said, "Guy, like he was quite aware." And I said, "Can you just slow it down, please?" And then there are numerous people in my neighborhood who caught all of this on Ring doorbells of him speeding through the neighborhood. And on Sunday, when I was cleaning my bike outside my house, he rode past once, twice, and on the second time, I walked out in front of him and I said, "You've got to stop. Someone's going to get hurt." And it escalated quite quickly from there.
And so hilarity ensued. Was alcohol involved? I don't know. But again, more loving leftist acceptance of lots and lots of people. And then I'm going to transition quite clumsily, I should admit, to this. And I'm going to ask you guys a question. Now, of course, I customarily have, because we're in the conflict right now, Operation Epic Fury, and I have some updates. So I'm going to ask you guys this. Now, Howard Dean said, remember Howard Dean, I should have gotten that video. Son of a biscuit eater. Howard Dean going, Pennsylvania, California, yeah! And that kind of tanked Howard Dean. I can't do it. That would ruin the rest of the show with my voice. I can't even begin to. to repeat that. Anyway, I want to ask you guys this. Now, the 82nd Airborne apparently is queuing up. And of course, we're talking to Iran right now and dropping things on them and sending love notes to them. Now, Howard Dean, this is the question for you guys. I don't know the answer, but I thought I'd put it out there because I try to use a bit of equanimity on the show sometimes. If I'm motivated to, mostly I'm not. Howard Dean, if Trump sends 3,000 troops into Iran, is going to end the GOP's grip on power. Now, again, I speak leftist, so I'll translate that. And what that means is we're going to kill your ass in midterms. So my question to you guys is, I'm curious what you think about that. Will it have a deleterious effect? Because up till this point, my understanding is that Donald John Trump, OMB, Orange Man Bad, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head, has said more than once, I believe, that I'm not going to put boots on the ground in Iran. And a lot of people have said, okay, well, I'm jiggy with that. That's the technical term, jiggy with it. And so if he does, is that the ruination of all? And I'm just sort of curious. Let me see. Oh, wait, here we go. And this is why I have great peeps who sent me this. Gosh, oh, and I can't copy it right now. Well, let me see if I can copy this. See, the people that are on SHR and KLRN during the shows send me things that I can play that I hadn't thought to do for myself. And so let me put it on the screen. Here it is, Howard Dean, and this is Howard Dean, simply being Howard Dean back in 2004. Go, Howard.
Well, you guys, you have already got the picture here.
Here it comes. Wait for it.
I was about to say, I'm sure there's some disappointed people here. You know what? You know something?
Sit down.
If you had told us 1 year ago that we were going to come in third in Iowa, we would have given anything for that.
And then?
And you know something?
Come on.
You know something?
Get to it.
Not only are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Harkin,
where?
We're going to South Carolina,
where?
And Oklahoma,
where?
And Arizona,
where?
And North Dakota, and New Mexico. We're going to California, and Texas, and New York. And we're going to South Dakota, and Oregon, and Washington, and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
Come on. You got to love that. So anyway, thanks. Rockety Rick, Rowdy Rick Robinson. Please, folks, if you would, do not tax the Rick. I beseech thee, do not do that. Anyway, I was talking about that. And of course, I believe that means that coming up very shortly, we're going to talk about, if I can find it. Oh, that's right. This, what?
It's time for happy stories and good times.
Here's the start of a few happy stories. And this one is now Trump is talking about, hey, I got my ass debanked from Citibank. And then if it was, if this idea is good enough for Citibank to debank President Trump and good enough for Canada to debank Canadian truckers, then it's good enough to debank illegal invaders. So Trump is thinking, hey, maybe we should talk about making sure banks verify customers' citizenship. Quite frankly, I think that's a happy story. I think that's an idea whose time has come. Because if banks can tell you that you can't purchase that gun because we don't like guns and we don't like America, we don't like free speech, we don't like the Second Amendment, then why shouldn't there be a certain cadre of individuals who say something similar to, you really ought to be an actual American citizen. And one of the worst things that's going on right now is that ICE has gone into the airports and people are saying, oh, they don't know how to run the x-ray machines. Said all those people who have been running x-ray machines for a long time because they're ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And so this comes up, hey, CNN. Remember I talked about CNN to the dipshit that was in comments? Yeah, here's CNN forced to admit that ICE agents in Atlanta are kind of smoothing things over
Finally,
a little
we can take
bit.
a deep breath here. The numbers have dropped off. The lines are getting shorter. I think the average wait time
CNN, the finest name in news.
now is under 40 minutes. So if you have a flight to catch today, it's a good time to come to Hartsfield-Jackson International. Talking about those ICE agents, you can see a few behind me right there. And then I'm going to walk you this direction, and you can see some more of them gathered over here. This is what they've been doing for the most part today, is doing the patrol.
Okay, but this isn't correct, right? None of this can happen. None of this is happening, and I'm making this crap up. As per normal, you can't trust me. I manufacture this stuff out of completely whole cloth, right?
And the wait line looks like this. In the couple of hours that I've been here, I've seen ICE officers patrolling, and the line has looked the same since I got here. Completely empty. So if you see wait times go down while you're traveling, you may just want to thank an ICE officer. Earlier this morning, travelers may have experienced a little bit of a wait time, but since I've been here...
Okay, I think this is amusing, though, because everyone is on the left, and the Demorats are saying, hey, we're falling apart. The nation is falling apart. And I get it. I understand it. Because it's the Demorats who have said, no, we're not going to be funding. Now, ICE is funded by the big, beautiful bill. TSA is not funded. Homeland Security isn't funded at the time when we happen to need both. Isn't that weird? So who shut down the government? Well, yeah, it was Demorats and leftists. So who created the gigantic lines? It was Demorats and leftists by deciding that they're going to defund government. And so who should you look at? The Demorats and leftists who have decided that they were going to defund government, which no bueno. There are a lot of people that are affected on this. Now, personally, do I give a rat's ass? I don't. I hate to fly because all it is violent, alcoholic-ridden, unsanitary individuals crammed together in a thin aluminum tube. My days of tolerating that kind of crap are gone. However, there may be instances in which you yourself have to fly. And if you have to fly, you can thank the Demorats and leftists for putting you right there where you are. I spoke last week about this situation where I think it was Representative Luna Paula, a Republican, getting rushed and escorted ahead of the line of everybody else. And it was also Debbie Wasserman Schultz doing the exact same thing. And here's a happy story. I think this is wonderful. Delta has decided that it's going to suspend specialty service, a perk for members of Congress, and says, you know what? It's because of the DHS shutdown. Hey, look, an actual airline with guts. That's a wonderful thing because until Congress and everyone else who writes these nonsensical laws suffer the same hashtag consequences for their stupid regulations and rules and laws, nothing is going to change. Absolutely nothing is going to change. Now, it's interesting that I point out right now that Chuck Schumer, as we all know, decided that he was going to shut down DHS funding because the purpose was to defang ICE. And people are suggesting, well, maybe he actually handed Trump a win in some fashion because ICE, Trump has announced, is going to remain at airports indefinitely until things change. And, you know, Tom Homan said essentially, you know, I can check identification, before people enter the screening area. We're trying to release TSA resources to get to positions that they really need expertise in. That's what everybody's talking about. All the Demorats and Leftists say, well, the ICE officers don't run the X-ray machines, that kind of stuff. Like the X-ray screening. So we're going to be a force multiplier. We're going to check people to see who they are before you even get there. And then this stuff is going to run through. Frankly, I got to tell you, I think this is kind of a marvelous idea. To me, this is a happy story. Now, the person whose name I forgot was Anna Paulina Luna. And she comes back, and this is a happy story, and says essentially, you know what? I believe that I have enough evidence to think that both Governor Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, the AG of Minnesota, were knowingly complicit in a Somali fraud scheme there in Minnesota. Therefore, I have referred both of them to the DOJ for criminal charges.
Chair recognizes Ms. Luna.
Thank you, Chairman Comer. Honorable Robbins, based on your record before your committee, when did Governor Walz first become aware of widespread fraud in Minnesota social service programs?
I would assume that he has been aware of it since he ran for office for governor in 2018.
By 2017, DHS investigators warned CCAP fraud could exceed 50%. What was that information elevated to the governor's office?
Yes, there was an OLA report.
Thank you, ma'am. By 2020, state officials knew feeding our future invoices were fraudulent. We know that payments continued to the AG's knowledge. Did they continue to the governor's knowledge as well?
Yes.
Attorney General
AG and governor both notified. Well, I don't think I need to play the rest of this because you're generally smart people, so I think you understand the direczione in which this is maneuvering. Also, number of people have said, and here's the cool thing about SHR. And I was listening to our morning guy, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. Earl Jackson comes on and with his own show, the Mission Ready Briefing. And Earl is on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning, way before me. And I was listening to him in the morning, and because he's a Christian, he's a man of God, he's a much better man than I will ever be, and said that, you really should, people have said, and Trump have said that, I can't say I regret the passing of Mueller. And I don't either. I don't regret it at all. This guy went out of his way to bankrupt people, to crash people, to rip them apart. So again, I acknowledge, and other people on SHR have said, I don't have anything bad to say about Mueller. Well, I do. 2 words, fuck him. And he's gone, and he can't crash anyone anymore. Here's Miranda Devine from the New York Post. We're still learning the full rot of the Russiagate scandal, which is on Mueller. And I love to pronounce the name like it was written, Mueller, not Mueller. And so to understand, to maybe try to grok the concept of why it is. Oh, by the way, here's something funny. Let me go back here a little bit. I have the TV on in the studio. And here are some people, I just read you the story about Delta saying, senators, Congress critters, et cetera, are not going to get priority seating anymore. They're not going to get escorts anymore on Delta. And here's somebody that I'm looking at up there saying, yes, absolutely every airline should cease the practice now and forever and into the future. The crap that you create, Congress critters, you should yourselves be subject to. Now, having said that, let's go back to Mueller. His toxic legacy continues to live on, even though he's cacked. And, Trump didn't have kind words, nor do I, about Mueller. He cacked at 81. I think he had Alzheimer's or some other kind of a disease, which makes you wonder, when he was working all this stuff, was he laboring under that, and who was actually doing the work for him? We'll never know. There was a lot of human toll that was taken on the president and the people that Mueller investigated. Dozens of friends and allies and whatnot. What did he? I think he Parkinson's, I think, is what Mueller had. So you have to ask, fundamentally, were you really in charge of your faculties when you were doing the Russia investigations? So I have to wonder. I don't particularly know the answers to that, but I'm sufficiently jaded to the point where I have to question everything that comes out of a leftist-oriented individual and regimes, to include definitely the FBI at that time, and Mueller, and the special counsel. Okay, the deep state kind of evildoers working for him. Did they do it? They knew exactly what they were doing. I'm fairly sure Mueller knew exactly what they were doing, and it was all about get Trump. And that's what Miranda Devine says. We're still beginning to unearth the crap that was going on with regard to Mueller and the Russia investigation. But here's kind of the semi-delicious thing that a lot of people don't understand. And I think it's intentional, because people, they don't have any kind of remembrance of this. Do you remember what the results were? The Mueller gang found no Russian collusion by the Trump campaign. But they decided that it was worth crippling Trump's 45th presidency, and their witch hunt continued through 46 and as much into 47, and they just handed that over to other people, because I believe firmly since 2016 there was and has been a soft coup against a presidential candidate, a presidential nominee, a president-elect, and a sitting president. So when people consult with me, which they mostly don't, because they know that BZ's filter is gone, dudes and dudettes. My thought is, may you rot in hell, you piece of shit. And I am not in keeping with Gaia's great plan with regard to that. And who knows where I'll begin going, where I cack. But let me remind you of this. It was Mueller and his campaign that harassed an innocent man by the name of Peter W. Smith until he committed suicide, a word YouTube and other social media events don't like, but it's true. So if you don't like the truth, I don't know, take a big mug of social media cup, shut the fuck up. Kind of like that. Wait, I think I have a media asset for that. Yeah, I do. There's a big steaming mug of what you can do, social media. Anyway, Robert Mueller decided that he was going to ruin hundreds of lives, which is what he did, based on a fraudulent case that he knew was fabricated by Demorats. He was one of Obama's, if you recall, go back, the Wayback Machine, Mr. Peabody. He was one of Obama's biggest tools, wielded in the effort to steal the 2016 election and ruin Trump's first term. And Mueller drove families into bankruptcy that had zero involvement with Russia. And also some of their children received death threats. He wasted millions of dollars, your hard-earned American taxpayer dollars, in terms of doing this in his effort to get Trump and destroy OMB. So, like I've said before, and I'm saying here officially for the first time, Spare me, if you will, all the damn pearl clutching over Trump's response to his death. A person's death, it doesn't change how the assholes lived, does it?
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Listen in to the Reaver of Common Sense, where we cut through the noise of news and politics with a show equipped for bombast. Tune in Mondays and Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Pacific, featuring a refreshing dose of reality. Jersey Joe fearlessly tackles the tough topics with no nonsense. Just pure common sense. Visit shrmedia.com, where you can hear the Reaver of Common Sense in action. He may not always be polite. He may not always be refined. But one thing's for sure. He always tells it like it is.
Are you looking for a way to boldly express your faith and love for your country? Then check out Seven Armors, the premier apparel company for patriotic men of God, where faith meets freedom in style. Our t-shirts are more than just clothing, they're statements. Bold, stylish, and meaningful. From timeless messages to modern designs, we've got something for every patriotic man of God. Wear your beliefs proudly with Seven Armors gear. Don't miss the chance to wear your faith and freedom on your sleeve. Visit 7armors.com today and join the movement. That's the number 7armors.com. 7armors.com. Faithful, vigilant, steadfast, passionate.
Are you looking for bold and honest conversation about the issues shaping America? Well, let me welcome you to Unleash 101 with Jeremy Hansen, where we take you beyond the headlines. We dive into politics and culture, struggles of everyday life. It's raw, real, and unfiltered. If you're ready for truth with a punch, pull up a chair and join us. That's right, Unleash 101, where real talk feels like home. Find us at unleash101.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and more. We look forward to seeing you. Unleashed 101 with Jeremy Hansen.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional, but it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It is the beginning of the second hour here on BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct from the SHR Media Studios in mid to central to north to south Idaho. NOFE Nof, SOUF South Idaho. It is March 24th, the year of our Lord 2026. I transposed some numbers, sadly. It is 9:05 p.m. on the Pacific, way left coast, and it is midnight 06 on the far eastern coast. There are some there's a bit of tete-a-tete going on in the comment section right now. Perhaps tantrums, perhaps like camshafts being thrown, that kind of thing. People doing this, people not doing that, people doing this, people not doing that. I have some more happy stories. This falls into the realm of massive amounts of Schadenfreude, and if I'd been thinking about it, I would have put that up and spoken about it. Anyway, this is not brand new. This is from a little bit earlier this month, the 13th, if I'm not mistaken. But I love this because this is a happy story in terms of, the delicious irony is you're killing me here. You're killing me here. This is from the Washington Free Beacon. A UN judge, a one-time Columbia University human rights fellow, was found guilty of slavery. A United Nations judge. This was last year, by the way. It's still delicious. I just found it. Okay. At least give me credit for digging around. A UN judge was convicted last year, March 13th, of trafficking a young woman to the United Kingdom and forcing her to work as a slave, which a black female, the irony is it's thicker than honey dripping off a comb. And so I just had to bring that to you because I knew that people would appreciate the kind of ridiculosity that occurs around here. Now I'm going to play this. And if you have any idea of what the hell it is and what the hell James O'Keefe means, because James O'Keefe had his Truth Veritas stolen away from him. Somebody made boardroom moves and stole that name. So he's just working pretty much by himself now. And so he's saying that, okay, I'm going to play the video. It's only about a minute. And he's saying that there's something stellar coming up in March. Well, you better hurry up, dude. It's March 24th already. You don't have many days left. And he's going to tell you, it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great. And it's going to be stellar. And to me, when people say that, I hear when I can hear, and I'm holding my good ear to whatever. And I hear blah, 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 blah. It'd be nice. I'll believe it when I see handcuffs and perp walks and tears and snot. By the way, I should tell you, everybody, that was the name of my 5th garage band. Handcuffs, perp walks, tears, and snot. I was handcuffs in that. So let me add James O'Keefe to the stage here and see if I can play that for everybody. Jimmy, go. Oh, stop. Let's turn the sound on because something magical, amazing, I guess, is coming. Let's see.
Break the biggest story of our career. Mm-hmm. I always say that because we keep outdoing ourselves. Mm-hmm. Where are the arrests? They're coming. Oh, they're coming. It's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, it's going to create a constitutional crisis. And stay tuned for that. We're already there. We're already in a constitutional crisis. Yeah, but it's different when you have it on video. Everyone knows that. Ask Nick Shirley. And it's not just me that's going to be involved. We're going to have a small army of other citizen journalists getting the same exact thing. You have to believe it for it to happen. If you believe that there won't be arrests, there won't be arrests. But if you make it happen, if you will it to happen, and if you work towards it happening, there will be arrests. And we're going to make it happen. Because this year, effective in the month of March, we're going to expose the mother.
Okay, so when I see stuff like this, the first thing I go to is, well, this is just like Q. Anybody that believes in Q is not just a regular unleaded moron, you're a high octane moron. Because Q was manufactured for, wait for it, morons. Because if Q actually had anything, then Q somehow managed to let lots of people die. Because Q has everything, and I don't know, maybe James O'Keefe has everything. I'll put that into the department of I'll believe that shit when I see it happen. But I just had to play it because, on the off, Jesus, on the off chance that something like that may happen. By the way, I just looked at this. Look what you can get. Also from Seven Armors. Don't Tread on Me, Liberty or Death. This is Mrs. Earl's graphic. It's a great tee. Great tee. Great graphics. Anyway, moving right along. So maybe it comes, maybe it doesn't. If it does, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. But you better bring the evidence, and you better bring the videos, and you better bring all the stuff you can, because Demorats are about to get jiggy. They're about to get ruthless. They're about to get on with them bad selves, them Demorats. I'll show you the article in a moment. It's from the New York Post. And Gavin Newsom, Governor Royal Hair, sat down and said, we're going to have to be ruthless in the most ruthless of way. And then he asked, I wonder where Ruth is. Okay, that's an old Firesign Theater joke. Come on, move along. Nothing to see here. So he said, my party needs to be ruthless about winning. As if, and this is just off the top of my brainulus, as if, let's see, gerrymandering the crap out of every district in a blue state didn't happen. Attempting to assassinate the president twice, waging unlimited lawfare by way of black-robed, anarchist, leftist, biased judges, waging a soft coup, as I indicated, since 2016 against a presidential candidate, a presidential nominee, a president-elect and a sitting president, debanking conservatives, waging every form of political warfare and otherwise, flooding the nation with 20 million, I think it's easily 20 million plus illegal invaders, refusing to arrest criminals, refusing to prosecute criminals, unleashing a decade of nothing but unmitigated political violence, see 2020, as a matter of fact, locking down citizens, since we're talking about that. Citizens, it completely destroyed the nation. We have still not recovered for a virus that had a 98% to 99 percentile recovery and survival rate. I'm 76. I survived that crap because I actually have an immune system. And we were told, oh, no, you must take the jab. Immune systems don't exist. Piss off, mate. Aided and abetted 110% by the American media maggots, demolishing society with trans units and mental mutants, the embrasure of both of those things. And that's just to start. So what did Newsom say? Well, we're going to go back again to, you got to get ruthless, Demorats. You got to start getting serious, as if all the crap that I said before, that wasn't serious. So this is the article. Gavin Newsom says he can be the mafia don that the Demorats need this time. The Demorat version of President Trump ahead of the 2028 election. He sat down with Politico and said, we need to get really serious because, before, what were they doing? They were just kind of play acting about all of this. Because remember, this didn't happen. From Axios, Demorats told to get shot for the anti-Trump resistance. Resistance, hello. Violence, hello. Is this thing on? Anybody hearing me? Oh, that's right. That's from Axios. And, the funny thing about me is I don't need to make any of this crap up. I don't have to. I bring the articles and I bring the videos to you by way of the internet. And they're the ones that the American media maggots intentionally choose to ignore. And of the process of attempting efficacy, you know what I do? This is so weird. Have you guys discovered that if you go to a site, this is just recent for me, as Sean can attest, anybody else at SHR or KLRN, Rick for that matter, I am a tech genius because I just found out that if you go somewhere and you see an article or you see a video, if you go up to the top of the internet, you can like star something and you can keep it. And would it shock you to know I keep a lot of stuff? So I'll play this until you get sick, but you know, Demorats aren't violent, okay? And that's why, because they've been so demure, so coy, so reserved. That's why, well, go ahead.
There aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
See what I told you? What I told you, man. Coy and demure.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Oh, like
look,
the play.
Is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
That was funny. Remember how funny that was?
I thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store.
By the way, after she says this, I'll tell you a quick story about Maxine Waters and the military. It's amazing.
At a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day.
So here's an interesting story about Maxine Waters. The U.S. Navy was creating a fighter bomber called the A-8 Crusader. And they measured her mouth so that the Crusader would have the largest intake on a naval fighter bomber ever. So that's how Maxine Waters was years ago helped the military. I just thought I'd tell you guys about that. That's an unusual military fact. And then also, this is interesting. So you need to get out and you need to be relentless. And like, you know, Gavin Newsom says, you got to get down. You got to get ruthless. We've been way too receding. We need to be a little bit more insistent in the future. And this is the best of, I guess, the best of the worst that leftists do. So here's a brief story that occurred with Cuba and Cubanos. Like I said, a long time ago in the 1980s, because of Carter and the Marielito boat lift and making sure that criminals from Cubans' prisons got into the United States of America. I would lip Cubans. You pull down their bottom lip and there were tattooed indicia as to whether or not these people were murderers because they were proud of it. They just had to conceal it a little bit, but we learned about that. Anyway, so what leftists are doing these days is called poverty tourism. And it's living off the pain of others. And, matter of fact, inflicting pain themselves, mugging for selfies, while simultaneously deciding that they're going to inhabit like 5-star motels with full generator service, being in the way like the parasites that they are, not one electrician amongst them, which would actually possibly be useful, and driving around in scenic buses like vacationers in the Serengeti, with a safari guide of a darker persuasion, pointing out the injured animals because that's the way of nature. Don't you get it? Don't you get with it? Meantime, these people, Code Pink, they're getting in the way, and they're hogging media time because that's what the hell they do. Getting treated like pink perfumed princesses and princes. See what I did there? Experiencing zero pain themselves, high on painkillers themselves, blacks backslapping, drinking, carousing, then complaining about the lack of chargers for their iPhones and their Anton Bauer batteries. You semi-journals will get that reference. So here I go and refer to this post from the New York Post. Socialists shamelessly celebrate Cuba's oppressors on a luxury tour. Because while they were there, they didn't do without. Oh, come on. Oh, how sad that they did not live under the circumstances that they were simply tourists. We like to see how the little brown people suffer. Oh, look, a little brown person suffering over there. We'll help, not with electricity or anything meaningful like that, but we'll watch. And come over here, little boy. We'll take some selfies and we'll have some alcohol while we're talking about it. No problemo, senor. That was kind of fun. And also kind of fun because these people are just like wicked crazy. I didn't pronounce that very well. I was trying to kind of sort of emulate Sean there for a second. Wicked pissa. I'm sorry. That's about the best that I can do for Sean. Jeez, I didn't live in Boston. Okay. I'm not a masshole. I didn't live there. So move on. Gavin Newsom's 104. This is perfect. This is the guy you want to elect to be president of the United Snakes of America. Gavin Newsom's $114 million butterfly bridge, a South California overpass for everything from monarch butterflies to mountain lions, is overdue and over budget. So back in 2022, 4 years ago, so Gavin Newsom broke ground on something called the Wallace-Annenberg Wildlife Crossing. It was an overpass for all sorts of animals. And Newsom said, and during a boast said, the state has committed $54 million, and I'm going to complete the job within another $10 million, $114 million later, and the project isn't completed. They said, it's going to be completed in 2025. That didn't happen. But also, go rewind the tape a little bit, if you would. See? It's for mountain lions, and I don't know, whatever happens to live out in the desert, because it's pretty deserty out there. And it's for monarch butterflies. Because monarch butterflies will know. They inherently intuit that if they fly over this bridge and not across the freeway, which is not covered, that if they cross this little slim bridge, they'll be okay. But here's something really weird, folks. Did you realize butterflies fly? It's in their name. So I wonder if they're going to get a state employee to hold up a sign saying butterflies cross here. Mountain lions cross here. Because if they don't do that, there might be some bad things that are going to happen to them. This is also funny. And I've said on any number of occasions, I speak leftist. So I will help translate. There are results from this big wage that's coming out. And some kind of a new study, I'll show you the article in a second, questions the impact of California's $20 fast food minimum wage. And the underlying subtext of that is that we, leftists, Demorats, just screwed you guys royally out of jobs. So welcome to your new kiosks with AI. Here's the story. Fox 26 News. A statewide minimum wage increase, raising fast food workers' pay to $20 an hour, was intended to support struggling employees across California. But a new study from researchers at University of California, Santa Cruz, by the way, UC Santa Cruz is like leftist central, and it's been that way for years. So it's not like they went out and said, well, let's try to prove something that supports this. Because Santa Cruz and their banana slugs, they came out with a study that the policy is having some unintended consequences. And sure, you're going to have more people applying because of the higher wages. Some of the people are not seeing increased hours or even securing employment at all. Because what's actually happening here? What's actually happening? Let me see if I have this. Would you believe it if I were to tell you something like, you're replaced by a kiosk and you're replaced by AI? And what disembodied voice is that coming through the speaker saying, are you going to be using your app today? Meaning that probably people are not involved in this. So it's another illustration of California leftists, wonderful people deciding that, you need to make $20. You're going to lose all your damn jobs because what you do isn't worth $20. You should join a union. Why don't you join SEIU? Why not? Excellent idea. Okay. The other thing I want to mention, I may have time to play this or talk about this before the end of the break. If so, I'll end up kind of separating the break with the beginning of this article and the ending of this article. But according to a report, California Doge, because California has its own Doge, has been looking at the fraud and the waste in the state, and they say that it's worse. It's way worse than anybody could have imagined. It's even worse than Minnesota cold in Califailure. Now, according to them, this report within just the past 5 years, it's estimated to be $434 billion with a B. That's $500 billion for the people who just came in from the left. See, I take care of you guys. I'm taking care of you. Who loves you, baby? Besides Kojak and a lollipop. So $500 billion in just 5 years. And it's 53 seconds. Yeah, I'm going to play this and then we'll exit and take a pee break, PIOBRACH, and we'll be right back. Okay.
But it's just like Gavin Newsom, he fixed the homelessness problem many years ago. He kept announcing that he's fixed it while the problem gets worse. I mean, this guy's a total disgrace, Gavin Newsom. If it's been fixed, then why the...
No, you don't understand. He's telling everybody, every Demorat, that we need to be ruthless and continue to wonder What happened to Ruth?
Money's still going out. He says it was fixed in 2021. Those payments were from 2024.
Right.
He's just lying and gaslighting as he is on every single issue. And the truth is that California has got more fraud than the rest of America put together. And Dr. Oz is absolutely right.
Wait. This will be the first one of the show. Damn. Jeez. Really?
Need cooperation with the federal government. When I'm governor, that's what we'll get. In the meantime, I mean, we're trying to find it as well. My organization, Cal Doge, part of my campaign, we estimate now that the total fraud in the last 5 years in California, $434 billion. And what are they doing about it? Nothing, because they have total contempt for taxpayers. They don't consider it that it's our money that they're stealing and wasting. And that is why they're going to lose this year.
They got caught. And also because, just like I said, with regard to Delta and everybody else, these fuck nozzles suffer zero consequences for their actions. And until they suffer consequences for the decisions they make, mostly this crap won't change.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
In a world where leftists are running out of metal for the safety pins of their soothing red diapers, one man stands alone, attempting to fundamentally change America, one leftist diaper at a time. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, is guiding you through the maelstrom of Democrat leftists and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Listen to BZ Saloon on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central, and 11 p.m. Eastern on the SHR Media YouTube channel, Twitch, KLRN, Rumble, and X at BZ Saloon. It's one great late-night conservatarian talk radio show. Be there. Aloha.
Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name is Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRN Radio.
It's Sean from the Edge of Liberty. Just like the Bidens, I too am moving. Only in my case, it's days and times. That's right. You can now find the Edge of Liberty Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on 11 Eastern on the SHR Media Network. Join me as we talk politics, news, alcohol, fun, not so much fun, clowns, small kittens, large kittens, dogs, amoebas, and anything else.
He's serious. Amoebas, kid. Amoebas.
It just pops into my mind while I'm on the air. That is Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast, on YouTube, X, KLRN Radio, Facebook, Twitch, and anywhere else a good podcast is found. Please check out our website, shrmedia.com. I will see you live on the air.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high-quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Independence. With that declaration, America was
was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being, and in the good that comes from exercising these rights well. The founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It's the final half hour of the show. And thanks to everybody for being here tonight. I appreciate it with all of my little clotted heart. And having said that, as you can see above, drink up, saloon denizens. It is the last call for alcohol. Like this, my vodka in here. Now my BZ metal-clad thing for the bottom of the SHR mug here hasn't arrived, but very soon it will, and I will show you my support for myself, because if I can't support myself, then what possibly can I do? What good am I for that at all? And of course, as I've said,
folks, this is BZ's final hour. Step up. Last call for alcohol.
And I mean it. Only less than a half hour left. This is amusing. Since, by the way, the show is Demorats, you better get ruthless. You better get on because you guys have been such simps before. We haven't tried to ruin anything or piss in anybody's flintlock. No. That has never happened. And it certainly went. We have to get on top of things. And I was talking about Gavin Newsom, and here's a story. This is, again, superior Schadenfreude. Hey, I bring this from me to you so that I can enjoy you, so that you can enjoy all the simmering Schadenfreude proffered here. This is from the Center Square, California. Economists warn that the billionaire's tax could cost California $25 billion. The proposed California billionaire tax is going to cost the state more money than it would bring in if the Golden State Golden Goose flocks go to other states. Hey, look, Mark Zuckerberg, he's fled. Elon Musk fled. Other people are considering fleeing as well. And so work is moving on the one-time 5% wealth tax on California billionaires. And I was watching some news today, and a lot of the people that are there, billionaires, are saying that this is nothing but confiscation. This is wealth confiscation. And so if your point is to make sure that I leave your state, then apparently the point, the thing you're trying to do is being accomplished. Imagine that. But because of this, California is talking to Demorats, so Demorats don't just live in Califalia. They're all over the place, as you well know. So Oregon is nuts too. Just thought I should point this out because it contains leftists. And seriously, I mean, like off the chart leftists. Here, this is a great story, an interesting story, a weird story, weird ass story. Oregon ballot measure would make hunting, fishing, and farming illegal. A proposed Oregon ballot measure branded as animal cruelty support or an initiative would criminalize 1 million residents in the state of Oregon while stripping away critical funding for wildlife conservation. Petition 28 is what it's called. This is where my heart swells and my heart soars like an eagle, just like Chief Dan George. It's called the Peace Act. And doesn't that make you feel better? Because it's called the Peace Act. Isn't really about stopping cruelty. It's about outlawing hunting and fishing and trapping and farming. Okay. So Oregon's Hope you guys are sitting down. Oregon's animal abuse laws currently have exemptions that protect lawful hunting and lawful fishing and lawful trapping. And there are agencies that make sure that these animals are not abused, like Fish and Game, wildlife agencies. Each state has those, but now those are going to be considered as cruelty. It's going to criminalize any activity that injures or kills animals. So let's see. Let's do the math. Every licensed hunter in Oregon is going to be committing animal abuse. Every fisherman, every angler, every rancher who does what? Oh, yeah, harvests cattle. Well, do you see the point here already? PETA, of course, loves this because, you can't be eating meat. You're going to be eating that orange goo that McDonald's used to serve up in its hamburgers. God, it had a phrase. Let me see if I can. Pink slime. Yeah. Don't you guys want to be eating manufactured meat or manufactured pink slime? Because it's, it sounds just, it's so attractive. Here's my mug of, let's knock mugs for eating manufactured meat, printed meat, because they're doing that shit now, and pink slime. And then since we went, because the show is about, you Demorats, you guys got to get with it. Well, it doesn't just happen in Califailure, like I said, or Oregon. It also happens in New York. Oh, no, BZ. No. Andy Robinson, Dirty Harry. Oh, no. So New York, Albany is the capital of New York. So Albany has introduced a bill that would force all residents to turn off their outdoor lights at 11 p.m. So suggesting that because a clear night sky, that's not bad. You and I have both been to places like where I live right now in Idaho. The nights are so wonderful that I can look up in the sky and I can see all the stars and the satellites moving and Starlink moving and all the UFOs moving. It's wonderful. So, light pollution, that would be kind of cool. And maybe there are certain towns, cities that suggest, hey, do us all a favor and turn off your lights. We want to look more like North Korea. See what I did there? In many ways. But it's called the New York State Dark Skies Protection Act. And it wants to limit light pollution and conserve energy and protect wildlife. Those moths. Do you know how many moths die every night because of your damn light? Folks, you need to have more guilt. Moths have rights too. Okay, so the law would require property owners of all kinds, types, shades, sexes, and that because we can't leave that out. Single family homes, like multifamily homes, apartment buildings, commercial buildings, to shut off their outdoor lights from 11 p.m. until sunrise. Now, when I first heard that, I thought, hey, if I'm a criminal in a parking lot or a criminal on a street, that'd be cool. Because now all the people, when they go out after 11 p.m. are going to need NVGs to make sure that I'm not tracing them and following them and about ready to stab, kill, or rape them. So criminals are looking at this and going, bonus. This is like way cool. And did I mention the fines? Because of course, there have to be fines with this. And the fines will range theoretically between $250 to $500. Oh, on what? Oh, on your ability to pay. Of course. Oh, did I also say that it's each violation. Not like 5 violations or 10 violations. It's each violation. Because why shouldn't you do that? You know, those freedoms are overrated. They're super overrated. And so, let me put this up to the stage. Since we're in New York, look, Mamdani administration has created a $1.9 billion 3-year contract to house homeless people in New York City hotels. And this just occurred earlier this month. And the thing that I find interesting about that, let me put this back up, is now go back in the Wayback Machine just a little bit. Do you guys seem to remember that in 2024 and 2025, illegal invaders were housed at really nice 5-star motels in New York City, like the Roosevelt? And they wasted vast amounts of food because it wasn't their food. And they trashed all the rooms because they didn't belong to them. There was no linkage for people to do any amount of saving for that. And there was no reason because you had no investiture on stuff like that. Unless it hurts you personally to trash this crap, and it doesn't because it's not yours, then it's somebody else's problem. So that's $1.9 billion in a 3-year contract to house more homeless in New York City. And this is great. This is from, this is a little bit of deliciosity. Because once I tell you the author, you'll begin to understand this. Now, this is from Hot Air, and it's from an author named Betsy McCaughey. And what you may or may not know is that Betsy McCaughey was a former lieutenant governor for the entire state of New York. So it's not like there isn't anything that like she's just making this crap up, okay? Right? Stripping the dying of their assets. Mamdani's latest proposal. To what? To make up money. For what? Creating programs that he said he was going to do, and all you guys are going to get so much great free shit. It's going to be wonderful. So if Mamdani, right over here, Muzzy Kami Mamdani, if he gets his way, half of everything that New Yorkers worked an entire lifetime for, you know, like their homes and their businesses or their farms or their savings, could be yanked away on their deathbeds. And that's the point. And as McCaughey says, ex-lieutenant governor of the entire state of New York, no more empire state, he'd make it the expropriation state. And because of that, he's exploiting, Mamdani is exploiting a certainty. We're all going to die. And that's to try to fill another $5.4 billion budget gap. And these are the very foundations of American life. You work long and hard. If you're a parent, see, here's where the poop comes in. Here's where the sand gets draped all over the kitty paws and they walk through the punch bowl. Leftists and Demorats don't believe in families. They don't like families. They hate families, and they don't like kids unless they're muzzy kids. That's a story for another day. So the foundations of American life for parents, if you're a parent, wouldn't you like to be able to hand over the things that you've worked long and hard for to your kids? That's a goal. Well, no. He's going to undermine those very now potentially tenuous foundations by attacking the accumulation of wealth. And this is what commies do. You know, he fluctuates. He's a Demorat socialist, but he's truly a communist. And socialism is, well, you know, we're going to give you a whole lot of stuff. And communism is you're not going to own a thing. everything belongs to the state. I'm a representative of the state, and I'm going to benefit from everything that you do. And I couldn't care less if you like that or not. So New York is a couple of states. There's a few states that impose a wealth tax, a death tax, I should say. It's a 16% levy on estates worth more than $7 million. $7 million is what an average, fairly successful small business, family-owned business can make in the course of their entire lifetimes. And then if you make that $7 million, you're going to be giving 50% of it away to the state of New York. Okay, so there's a cliff in the bill that once reached, if your estate hits, like, say, $750,000, the confiscatory 50% rate applies to all the assets, not just the amount above that figure. So half the estate gets wiped out, and Albany, the capital, steps in and takes it. So I'm going to use an example here from the article. And the dealio is this. Okay, it says, consider the average home value in Westchester County right now is $823,000, while the median home price in Nassau County is $875,000. So even if you assume that the family has no other assets, the legacy of most Westchester and Nassau homeowners would fall into the tax collector's hands. So Bruce Blakeman, Hochul's Republican rival for governor in November, it says basically it's the most extreme death tax in America. Children are going to lose half the value of their parents' home, and family businesses will have to be sold off just to pay this tax. But that's okay, because Demorats need to get ruthless. There's also a funny little stat. A majority of New Yorkers all throughout that state, 51% of them, they own their own homes. But in New York City, the figure is just 32% because of what? The continuous cost of living in New York City, which everybody knows. And, well, it's not just happening there. Okay. It's happening, as you would expect, because we're talking about Demorats. Anywhere, everywhere. You guys need to get more ruthless. So high taxes are turning Seattle into a weird kind of ghost town full of NUI and weird stuff. That's kind of a happy story, too, because you got to remember, of course, in the brain, what is left in the fisherless brain of most Demorats and leftists. Okay, businesses are evil. Capitalism is evil. Taxes are like blessings from Gaia. And what leftists ultimately want is just pay us money for being who we are and then go away. Kathy Hochul said that last week. Or you fled down to Florida and you're robbing us of our generous social welfare programs. All you billionaires and millionaires, you need to go down to Palm Beach in Florida and bring those bastards back so that they can pay more taxes, because more people are going to do that, aren't they? They sure as hell will. The funny thing about that, let me see if I can put up the article right here. There it is. Okay, let's talk about this. This will be one of the second to the last articles for tonight. High taxes are turning Seattle into a ghost town full of empty office buildings, and it's about to get worse. Technology is allowing more and more companies to have remote employees. Thanks, Wuhan 19. And the competition among cities is only going to become more fierce. So this is from My Northwest. Seattle's downtown office market is facing one of the steepest declines in the nation. According to a new CoStar analysis, Seattle leads the country in falling office rents, with vacancies hitting record highs. Experts warn the slump could reshape Seattle's commercial real estate, cutting into property values and city tax revenues while raising questions about the future of downtown. Well, who's going to pay? Like Hochul? Hochul is one of the smart leftists who realizes, oh my God, what have I done? Maybe I've hoisted the people that pay for all my cool shit on my own petard, and now we're losing money. This isn't going well. What am I going to do? But at least she's cognizant of the fact that, well, crap is sparking off, baby. So, you know, it's like people who say, well, we don't need cattle, we don't need farms, we don't need fish, we don't need animals, we don't need to hunt. I can get any damn thing that I want in the grocery store. Right? Can't you? And it's true. I got one more story on Gizo Pizza. I may save this for Thursday. Yeah, you know what? As a matter of fact, it's about Tucker Carlson and a little bit of like weird ass, like, what the hell, Tuck? Or as I occasionally am known to say, fucker Carlson. I used to like him. And then he just Tucker Carlson went off the res. Calling for Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, can you respond, please? Tucker Carlson, table for one nut. Tucker Carlson, you're being paged. It's just really strange stuff. Well, I'm going to wrap up the show. And in the process of doing that, before I go, I want to say to all the people, I'm going to mention this once again. If you want cool stuff like my shirt, you can go to the SHR Media Shop at missionreadymen.com/collections, because we have a collection. Look, it's a collection. I recommend all this stuff. I have at least one of these, except the SHR Media shirt. That's doesn't do anything for me. Hoodies, yeah. But the rest of this stuff is really cool. So I'm just reminding you of that. And I also, before I go, TTFN, up for now, because I will be back Thursday night, same bat time, same bat channel, 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central, and 11 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what with. I think one of the things I'm going to be talking about this coming Thursday night is going to be China, because even more shit has stepped off since then. But listen, it's early Wednesday night for at least 50% of the people that are watching right now. It's only not quite 10 p.m. where I am in the Pacific time zone. But who knows, between like early Wednesday morning tomorrow and Thursday night, who knows what kind of crazy ass stuff is going to pop off? And the answer is, it's kind of like whack-a-mole. Just when you think that you have a handle on some of the stuff, then you discover, well, I don't know. I don't have a handle on any of this. So before I go, I want to remind everybody that coming up, let's see, what is tomorrow? Wednesday. So Wednesday, Sean from the Edge of Liberty is going to be on tomorrow night. My times, 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central, and 11 p.m. Eastern. So the only SHR dude or dudette, they're only dudes right now. Although we may have a dudette in the future. I'm not quite sure about that. So Sean's show will be on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Pacific. And so a great show to watch. Well, that leaves Thursday, right? So like I said, Thursday in the morning, you can watch Earl Big E Jackson on the Mission Ready Men briefing. He will be on Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and noonish Eastern. And that's the Mission Ready Men briefing Thursday. And then Thursday night, I will be on reprising whatever the hell I think I'm going to be doing on Thursday night. And then coming up will be the return of Lyle Armstrong. He has his mixer, another mixer back. So he should be sharp. he should be sharp and ready to go. And he's on the East Coast, way, way far away from where I am. So it's Lyle Armstrong on Friday at, well, I don't have my shirt. Well, oh, wait. Yes, I do. I can show you the shirt, the official shirt right now. Let's see. Where is the official shirt? There it is. That's Lyle Armstrong's shirt. It's a really nice shirt, really nice graphic. So his show, Lyle Armstrong's show, Beer and Bullstein, you have to pronounce it properly, Beer and Bullstein, is going to be on Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific and at 7 p.m. Eastern. And you got to watch him. And then we have, don't go away just yet, we have 2 more shows to talk about. And right after Lyle, it's going to be Jersey Joe. 2 SHR shows on Friday coming up right after mine. And after Earl. So right after Lyle Armstrong is Jersey Joe. He is the reaver of common sense. And if you have any common sense over here or over here, and you want to have it reaved, Jersey Joe is the dude to watch. And so he'll be on Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Central and 9 p.m. Eastern. But wait, one more. Now, there were 2 shows Friday. And then that means that on Saturday, we have 1 weekend show, and that is the return of Lyle Armstrong, Beer and Bullstein, same time at 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Central, and 7 p.m. Eastern. They all have fabulous 1-hour shows, and SHR has got you covered every darn day of the week. That's our goal. That's what we decided that we were going to do. And this is the part where I say something similar to, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show. Live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network, on the SHR Media YouTube channel, on KLRN, the Stentorian and Euphonious KLRN. And there's a reason that I'm here, because promotional considerations are by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, by the Shure and Electro Voice Microphone Corporation. Now, all my sponsors are about to change very shortly. And the Arrakis company that make my mixer, and also the Pratt & Whitney Engine Company, manufacturing dependable engines, producing thrust you can trust. Tiaras tonight, this is the new tiara, are by My Little Pony, the Boeing Corporation. Fine hat. Thank you very much. And also, thanks to my personal KC 135 Kettle One refueling team, with whom I shall be consorting in less than 10 minutes. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for listening. Now, live, chatting, and in podcast. Everybody come back tomorrow. God bless. Take care. Be safe.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Dad. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night,
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, and good luck.
And folks, if you would, remember this.